love you guys. It's so nice to see so many of you coming back for a live stream after a little bit of a break, even when it's so slow. I mean, you guys are just the best, and I love spending time with you too. So it's a two-way street of love, baby. And because of that, on that note, it's time for my weekly gift of memberships. That's right, I'm dressed for our Barbie watch-along. So hold on. Let me gift the 5 memberships. I do that at the beginning of every week because you guys inspired me with your own generosity, just like Jerome did once again. Jerome is always so generous. There we go. And that means you'll be able to participate in tonight's watch-alongs. So that's right. It's a big day. 3 streams today. 3 streams. I've never done that before, but it's slow. And also today is like a shockingly big day in terms of stuff for us to watch together. Thank you, 80s Model. Thank you, Alex Legates. Thank you for gifting memberships. Even 1 is so great. And again, it helps this channel. Thank you, Lloyd, particularly during a very difficult time with the strikes. Oh, Gareth, such generosity. And the Golden Girls, as always. I love it. Love the Golden Girls. Watched the whole show during the pandemic, and it was so fun. But it not only helps me during the strike in particular, when things are very, very slow, but also it shares the love with somebody else. Oh, thank you, Alex. And so not only are you helping me, but you're allowing someone else to jump in and join the party. So, by the way, thank you, John. Thank you, John. My favorite Golden Girl, Marjorie, I think Blanche, as Wade just said. I really like Blanche. Hey, Carrie. So the watch-alongs this evening, you're not muted, Roman, I see you. Hey, hey, Davison. Thank you, James Nova. So the watch-alongs this evening, I like all the Golden Girls. I mean, I don't know, Rose, I like a little bit of Rose. Too much Rose is hard for me. But everybody else, I think is a real treat. But anyway, Heather, I'm sorry you can't make it tonight. If you can't make either of tonight's live streams, they will stay up afterwards so that you can watch on your own time. And it'll be like I'm right there with you, all fresh. Fresh as a daisy. Gareth also loves Blanche. That's right. That's right, Gareth. Team Blanche. Let's do a poll. I think we've done it before, but we'll do a poll anyway about the Golden Girls. Hold on. Favorite Golden Girl. And you have to choose, because I only have 4 spots. Blanche, Dorothy, Rose, and Sophia. There you go. Anyone can vote. You don't have to be a member to vote in the polls. Anyone, can vote. But anyway, hold on. Thanks, Poke. So anyway, I was going to make tonight's watch-alongs for subscribers only, for subscribers. But that's not an option on YouTube. So I hope that you will consider subscribing, but anyone will be able to watch this evening. And members will be able to comment. So I hope you'll consider joining so you can join the live chat. But either way, you'll be able to join in. We'll have a great time. But you have to have your own copies of either Barbie and or Ahsoka. Barbie is at 6:45. And then I moved it up 15 minutes so I could take a break and stretch my legs. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to watch Ahsoka episode 5 together. And one of the reasons I'm doing that, not only because it's a big episode, but because I am going to have to be away tomorrow, so I will not be able to break it down until Thursday or maybe even Friday, depending on when that Aquaman 2 trailer drops on Thursday. Because I would like to attend the press screening that I have on Thursday. I'm trying to find out when Aquaman is dropping. Aquaman 2, it could either drop during the day, but I suspect it might be during Thursday Night Football. So let's see what they decide to do. So we have, it's very slow right now, but I did manage to get some stories. I'm very happy about the stories. I was like, what are we going to talk about? And then I was like, oh yeah, Drew Barrymore. And lit up my disposition. I was like, we're gonna have fun with that. So let's see here. Aquaman will definitely have the coverage when it drops. Aquaman 2 is a priority because it's the first time we're seeing it, and I just have to make hard decisions because of this personal matter I have to deal with tomorrow. So otherwise, I'd be on top of it. But I can't stay up. Other times I would stay up late tonight and just go like when Ahsoka dropped last week, I was up till 3 in the morning breaking that thing down. But because of what I have to do tomorrow, I can't do that. So I apologize. But it's just this one. Of course, it's the week they have a banger episode. I'm like, you're killing me. Hey, Juan. All right, so let me close the poll. Blanche is winning. Blanche, I put my finger on the scale a little bit, I think. So let's see here. Favorite Golden Girl, Blanche, 32, but Dorothy's right behind at 27. I don't blame you. I like Dorothy a lot too. The delivery there, B. Arthur's delivery is incredible. Thanks, my dear. Rose, 24%. That's respectable. I gotta say, that just shows that show was put together very well because there's somebody who appeals to everybody, so everybody can tune in and have a good time. Let's see. All right. Yes, Nikon. Again, just to clarify, you can join in live, but the watch-alongs will stay up for everybody, and everybody will be able to watch later if they want to do it on their own time. It'll have a countdown. It'll have a timer, so you can sync up, and it'll be great. It'll be great. That's right, John Teal. You win with D. Scabby More. That's pretty funny. So on that note, let's go to the first story. Boop. Drew Barrymore. Is she a scab? Yes. 1,000 times yes. She is a scab. This is so bad. I think haunt her forever. It's really bad. I don't know how much of a career Drew Barrymore had anyway, quite frankly, but I think she was kind of making her way back. But I think that this is going to be hard to recover from. So let's talk. Let me do a poll. Do you think Drew Barrymore is a scab? And, you might want to wait to vote until we talk a little bit. Do you think Drew Barrymore is a scab? Do you not know what a scab is? For those of you who don't know, a scab is somebody who crosses a picket line and also works to keep... What they do is they undercut the people who are striking by saying, oh, you don't need to hire those people because this person will do it and cross the picket line. So it's really bad. Okay, so she sure is. Nope, she's in the clear. And then next, I'm staying out of it. I think who watches the Drew Barrymore show? It must have some viewership, but so let's talk about it. So you don't have to vote right away. You can wait, although some of you have strong opinions, but let me fill you in on what's going on. All right. So late last week, Drew Barrymore said the Drew Barrymore show. That's right, Derek. She is filling the Ellen void. If you don't think this stuff sticks, just look what happened to Ellen. That Ellen DeGeneres stuff was so bad. Oh, congrats on your new badge, Jake. That was just awful. I've never seen such a 180 on somebody like Ellen DeGeneres, where 1 minute she was, the world's darling. Lloyd, I don't know about Fallon. Everybody kind of never liked Fallon. He somehow was still successful. I think like Jimmy Fallon, it was more like, aha, we knew it. We knew there was something. But I think that with Ellen DeGeneres, everybody thought she was just the bee's knees. And then she became evil all of a sudden. Oh, so rough. Thank you, Jason. All right, so I do miss Craig Ferguson Ragu. He was great. All right, so late last week, Drew Barrymore says, the Drew Barrymore show is coming back. And then she said, I own this decision. And what she decided to do was that she was going to bring back her show. And she said, hey, Drew Barrymore did step down in May from hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards. So she was like, see, I did what I was supposed to do, but you got to keep doing it, Drew. You don't get points for, if you break the law, you're not like, well, 99% of the time, I'm a law-abiding citizen. So this is a freebie. No, you can't. It just undoes all the goodwill that she earned by stepping down as the host of the MTV Movie and TV Awards. Okay. So Drew Barrymore's argument is that she's moving forward without writers. That's so bad. I'll explain that further in a minute. So she's moving forward without her writers. She had like 3 writers, apparently. Producers and the talent do a lot of writing as well. And then also none of her guests are people who are promoting struck work. So everybody, I think like the first day she had someone come on from Broadway and stuff like that. So that's kind of like, so she had people who were coming on that were not promoting things that were from struck companies. So she feels that's her workaround. Now, the first thing I'll say is that Drew Barrymore is not only a very famous actress, but she comes from a Hollywood acting dynasty. Isn't that guy in A Wonderful Life, Mr. Potter? Isn't he a Barrymore? I believe so. The Barrymores have been around for that long. And they trickle down to Drew Barrymore, who kind of already lowered the bar on the, we'll talk about The View in a minute. I just woke up. So it's like, she kind of like, the name wasn't quite what it used to be, but still it was respectable. I mean, what about future Barrymores? I mean, why? I mean, I think at that point, you'd be like, well, what about the legacy of the family? What about protecting the name Barrymore? Now everybody's like, oh yeah, Barrymore, that's SCAB. So the thing is that people are losing homes, they're losing their life savings, and the strike is going on way longer than anybody anticipated. And so by Drew Barrymore doing this, she does have children, Jerome, but I don't know if they want to be actors or in the entertainment business. Although she has such strong connections. I mean, why would they turn down a path where they could, get a little bit further ahead out of the gate? So anyway, she's extending the strike basically, and she's making it worse for these people. And so it's really, really bad. Now, some people might say, well, what about Drew Barrymore's crew members? Don't they deserve to make money? I mean, doesn't she have to worry about them? Well, sure, but why doesn't she do what everybody else is doing, and that's create a fund? Because I'm sure Drew Barrymore's got a lot of money because she's getting huge residuals, because Drew Barrymore was working in like the heyday of residuals. She's been on television shows. She's been in a ton of movies. Every time Scream plays, she gets a check, and I'm sure it's considerable. And she's certainly made millions of dollars over the year. So she could have forked over like what Greg Berlanti and Ryan Murphy both put up $500,000 to pay for their crew members who are out of work. And so Drew Barrymore, I think, could have done $500,000 and then supported them that way. Oh, that's right, Charlie's Angels won, and she produced those movies. She's got money. She certainly has $500,000 lying around somewhere, especially because she said she's making a lot of money off of this talk show, and she's also making a lot of money off of, she's doing a lot of endorsement stuff. That's right, David. She's making Walmart money. By the way, once you get in and you start doing merch, if you have lines of makeup and furniture and clothing, that's how you really make a lot of money. That's where real money comes from. I remember Kathy Ireland, who, I don't know if you remember who Kathy Ireland was. Kathy Ireland was this very famous model back in the day, and she did swimsuit stuff and everything. And she did a lot of physical fitness. She had a workout tape. But I remember that she made the bulk of her money off of Kmart or Walmart socks. Everybody wanted Kathy Ireland socks or something. And that's how she made her money. That's right, Lloyd Lester, Mark Wahlberg, and Ryan Reynolds and The Rock all know how to diversify their portfolios. Jessica Alba quit acting because she made so much money with her company. Same for Gwyneth Paltrow. So much money. And also, if you get an alcohol, we're a little off track here, but if you get an alcohol deal, like George Clooney has something, everybody gets an alcohol deal. Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson. That's right, Rihanna. She's making so much money off of Fenty, it's nuts. But if you have an alcohol brand, that is a huge amount of money, particularly if somebody comes in and buys it from you. That's how Clooney made the bulk of his fortune, selling something he did with, actually, somebody mentioned Cindy Crawford. Cindy Crawford's husband, Randy Gerber, he and Clooney went in on some kind of alcohol, and it sold, and it both made them ridiculously wealthy. And that's how they really made their money. So very interesting. So Drew Barrymore can afford $500,000 to support her crew. So I think that's what she should have done. All right, now, what's going on with, so SAG apparently, some of you are saying, I forgot to look it up, SAG maybe gave her a pass because, she's not acting, it's more of a news situation. So she's technically not breaking the actors' strike, but she sure is breaking the writers' strike. Well, I don't even drink alcohol. So it would be a weird thing to promote. It'd have to be non-alcoholic alcohol. And why would you want to drink that? All right, so anyway. Oh, is it Casamigos, Christian and Joe? And it sold for $1 billion? That's incredible. Hey, Andrew. All right, so anyway, this is what's going on with the writers, okay? So Drew Barrymore, her show had 3 writers, and they were not even told that the show was coming back. They heard about it on social media and from friends and people they know in the business who were like, oh, is your show back? Did you get a waiver? And they were like, what? I didn't even know it was coming back. So the 3 writers that she had on her show are outside picketing the show while it starts up again. And no one has talked to them. And all their coworkers have to walk by them and go into work. It's really awful. They asked one of them how they felt, and she was like, you know what? No comment. And I applaud her self-control. So anyway, they had 3 writers on the show who were Writers Guild writers. And the way that it works is that, so you might be like, so the bad thing is that if this works out, in the future, the Drew Barrymore show might say, we don't even need to have Writers Guild writers. Let's just be a non-union show. Because look how well it worked. Our viewership stayed the same, and we could continue even though there was a strike. So that's really dangerous. That's a dangerous potential situation to create. So that's really, really bad. And so you might be like, well, what does a writer do on a talk show? Well, a writer will source topics. A writer will write the intros and the outros, often sometimes the questions. It's very hard to talk off the cuff. Reality TV even has a writer's room. And Whoopi Goldberg, as some of you said, The View has been back because I think it treats itself as a news program, although it doesn't have any of its writers. And Whoopi Goldberg even said when they came back, you're going to see how much we kind of need our writers. So writers are important to this type of a show. There's only 3 of them. It's an important track for someone's career. They get to work in the entertainment business, and it's really horrible what they did to them. Now, here's the other thing that's really bad about what Drew Barrymore did. Drew Barrymore, because she decided to do this, she was the first domino, and now other daytime talk shows are following suit. The Talk, Jennifer Hudson's show, Kelly Clarkson's show is in development because she's moving from coast to coast, so she has to set up a whole new operation. So she's technically, not violating the strike because she hasn't hired her new writers yet, but she's still moving ahead on schedule. And then, as I said, The View. So, and also another big faux pas was that the Writers Guild was handing out "We Support the WGA" pins to audience members as they went in. And 2 audience members, I don't know if they're plants or not, but they seem nice, they seem genuine. 2 college students took the pins, put them on, and then because they would not remove them, or one of them wouldn't remove them, they got kicked out of the audience on the Drew Barrymore show. Why can't they have the WGA pin and sit in the audience? I mean, what, did Drew Barrymore want to have her cake and eat it too? And speaking of cake, I would remind her of what happened to Marie Antoinette. So Shelley says, to paraphrase a quote from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, money is rather a hobby of graces. Oh, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that quote, Shelley, but I like that you quoted such a famous film. All right. Jennifer Hudson said she wasn't going to do it. I hope so. I would not cross a picket line. Fran Drescher, everybody talked about the episode of The Nanny where she refused to cross a picket line. A very good rule in life is never, ever cross a picket line. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You will be hated forever, and you'll get very little gain for your efforts. So why would you do that? It's just so stupid. So let me close the poll, and then you can ask me anything you'd like about this topic before we move on to the next one. So let's see here. Drew Barrymore, 55%, only 55% think she's a scab. 26% are staying out of it, but 17% feel she's in the clear. So it's not great. It's not as horrible as one would think. So that's good for her. But I mean, that's good for her with audiences. People in the industry will not forget. Writers will not forget. I think that's pretty bad. B-Weeb, I definitely think she's scabbing. I think she's the scabbiest of scabs. It's just totally shocking. That's right, Eric. Fran Drescher got reelected. But it was crazy to me they only had like 22% turnout for votes when they're in the middle of a devastating strike. What else do the actors have to do but to hand in their votes? That's incredible to me. Solid Unit says, didn't Conan spin his wedding ring on his desk, among other stupid things, during the WGA strike in 2007? What's the difference here? I don't think there is a huge difference. I think that that's also really bad. You don't see any. Fallon's off the air. Kimmel's off the air. Colbert is off the air. Everybody's off the air right now. You just can't do it. I Just Woke Up says, it just doesn't seem fair. Whoopi and Drew are doing the same thing, but Drew's getting all the hate, and I love both of them. You know, I Just Woke Up, that's a really interesting thing. It's true. That's the way life works. And I think maybe people might start, the View kind of got away with it, but now this might call attention to them, with everybody being like, well, the View is there. But the difference with the View is that the View was started by Barbara Walters. So people see the View more as a news show. And besides Whoopi Goldberg, most of the talent on there are not actors. So I think people kind of saw that as like CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. Whereas Drew Barrymore is a very much felt to be an actress. And so people feel maybe she should have kept quiet about it. Maybe she should have been, and maybe Drew Barrymore should have said, instead of Drew Barrymore being like, I own this decision, maybe she should have been like, well, my crew pointed out that the View was filming, and they asked me what the difference was, and I couldn't think of one, so we're going into production on Monday. That's what I would have done. I would have been like, I'm tossing this flaming bag of poo over to the View, and see how they deal with it. Bryce says, do you think she could have gotten away with this if she just set up a fund and announced she will still be paying her 3 writers? No, you can't go into production. You have to stay dark, but then you have the fund so that people aren't totally without any income while you're not filming. Let's see here. Danelle says, I feel the unions are partially responsible for giving all those waivers. It's been messy from the start. That's right, Danelle. I totally agree. I think that it was really bad for them to do that, and people are like, why can this move forward and this can't? And you don't get a really clear answer. Some of you are saying Conan was forced to come back, and that makes sense. Poor Conan. NBC was tough on Conan. Let's see here. The View is not using writers, but The View does usually use writers. In fact, they even mentioned it, as I just said. Vincent says, if Drew wants to save face, she should take a few minutes out of every episode to do promotion for the strike and thank writers and actors. Yeah, let the people wear the pins. I think that pretending it's not existing is really bad. Yes, we'll get to Little Mermaid in just a minute. And then Hawes TV says, Conan did his show during the 2008 strike. Nobody criticized him. He even did someone just said that. I think that, different times and that, we're way past how long that strike lasted. I think it's kind of a different situation. This one is much more mean. Thank you, Andrew Myrick, for gifting a membership. This one has a lot more ferocity and, a lot more venom, I guess you could say. Charlie Michael says, Grace, do you remember if Daniel Craig caught any flack for writing scripts during the last strike? I don't think so, because the way that Quantum of Solace turned out was so awful that it really showed how much you need writers. They were like, thank you, Daniel, for doing such an awful job on that movie and proving how important writers are to the process. I know that sometimes we complain about the scripts, and that's true. I think they should work on hiring better writers. But a lot of times it's not the writer's fault. Sometimes it's the suits, sometimes it's the studio, and even at the end of the day, it gets even worse when you have a non-professional writer doing it. Unions are important, and you should not undercut unions. All right, let's move on to the next story of the day. Let's see here. That's right, AJ Jones. The WGA has been very, very aggressive and said that they did not give Drew Barrymore a waiver. And to add insult to injury, Drew Barrymore films directly across from the Writers Guild East offices. They're literally across the street from each other, which is nuts. So it's very easy for them to strike. They're like, let's go downstairs and strike her show. Oh, by the way, I loved that sign that someone came up with. It says, do you like breaking strikes? Do you like scary movies? I thought that was pretty funny. All right, second story of the day. Hold on, where'd my mouse go? Where is it? There it is. Okay. Story number 2. Boop. Oh, yeah. Finally, Little Mermaid. It's Disney's own numbers yet again We have to wait a frickin' month for Nielsen to show what it is, but I'm hoping that it's going to be really strong. But this is very exciting for The Little Mermaid. So it was announced the other day that The Little Mermaid, I think it was yesterday, right? I didn't do a live stream yesterday because it was September 11th, and I didn't think that was appropriate, to be honest with you. So that's why we didn't have a live stream yesterday. But there will be 3 live streams this week, on Thursday and on Friday. So we're definitely having 3 live streams. All right, so the Interstellar Green Bean says the language in the WGA contract changed after the 2007 strike. The shows were allowed to return with no writers. Now they cannot. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you for the clarification. All right, so to the Little Mermaid news. So it was announced that the Little Mermaid got 16 million views on Disney Plus in the first 5 days. 2 million more than Ahsoka. I don't know where these numbers are coming from, man. That's a pretty nice poster, I think. That's the Disney Plus poster, and I wish that the posters had been this good when the movie hit theaters. I thought eventually the posters got better, but they were just not. Lord Baratheon, I'm afraid we've moved on to the next story. I'm sorry, because I want to make sure we stay on topic. So anyway, I thought the posters eventually got a little bit better, but they never really were as good as I think some of the other Disney live action movies. But this is a nice one. And so the only other movie to have done better, as David Kyle just pointed out, was Hocus Pocus, which did 10 million more views, 26 million more views. Did I not say stay on target? So anyway, 26. So it was 16 million views for Little Mermaid in 5 days, and Hocus Pocus 2 did 26 million views in the first 3 days. So that just goes to show you how big Hocus Pocus 2 was. And I wonder if Little Mermaid also delivering influenced their decision over at Disney to put Haunted Mansion on Disney Plus and digital same day. Maybe they felt, Jay got milk. That's a good thing. Let's do another poll about The Little Mermaid. Where did you watch The Little Mermaid? Hold on. In theaters and Disney Plus, and then haven't seen it. There we go. So I do think that maybe this is why they made that decision with the Haunted Mansion. But this is, who this is the best for? Lin-Manuel Miranda. I've been saying on Movie Math, and many of you have agreed, that we felt that Little Mermaid, even though it was a little soft at the box office, had the potential to be another Encanto and Moana on Disney Plus, where it's just in there for years. To this day, Encanto and Moana are still in the top 10 when it comes to streaming movies, week after week after week after week. Oh, thank you, Robert Feldman. And that's just incredible. And so those are both Lin-Manuel Miranda movies, and so is this one. And so, by the way, Encanto and Moana also were weak theatrically, but they have turned into huge juggernauts for Disney, and slowly but surely we've seen them be built up in the Disney empire. Encanto is seen throughout the parks a lot, but then they also just recently announced at the mini D23 over the weekend that it looks like they're going to create a South America land for Animal Kingdom, which will feature Encanto. And of course, because as I said when the movie came out, you got to build that house. As soon as I saw the movie, I was like, I need to go to there. And I think there's just so many, it's great for a live show, for food, restaurant options. I think it's just a very good idea. That's right, David. Encanto was released in the heart of the pandemic, but still it underperformed in theaters, even against other movies. Juan Carlos, you purchased it. That's great. Because that's right. I should have put digital as an option. I didn't put digital. Oops, my bad. Because you could have, it was on digital for a while in the middle. But yeah, so Encanto, I think, could be huge in the parks. Absolutely huge as a land. But anyway, or part of a land. And that's right, Cosmix. Indiana Jones is also supposed to be in there. And some of you are like, what about Emperor's New Groove? I think there's a lot of space to play there. Thank you, Jordan, for gifting a membership. And then Moana, of course, has a new attraction opening in Epcot, like this month, I think, or something, very soon. They have the live action movie coming up with Dwayne Johnson, right? After he lost DC, he was like, what else can I do? I know, Disney live action Moana. And then also they have an animated series coming to Disney Plus. I hear that's coming next year, 2024, and Tiana will come after that. So Tiana is very far away as an animated series, which is a bummer. I'm like, you can't make these things at the same time simultaneously? Thank you, Sadie. Thank you, Dr. J. So that's, I think, a little frustrating. But anyway, that's when Tiana's coming out. But, I think that, you see I think Tiana has particularly had a rough time, unfortunately, with the changing of Splash Mountain. But the character is obviously very popular. I love The Princess and the Frog. What a fantastic movie. The last 2D animated movie, and a princess movie, no less. It was fantastic. I watch it all the time. And I'm very happy I'm excited about changing over Splash Mountain, and I'm very excited. I think the menu at Tiana's restaurant in Disneyland is a little underwhelming to me. I'm like, what's with this lemon beignet? Beignet don't have any lemon. They're just beignet. So I'm a little frustrated about that. But I mean, it looks like a nice restaurant, but I'm not a fan of the menu, I'm afraid to say. But I'm very excited about Tiana. I hope that she does very well, and I'm particularly excited about her series, even though it's ridiculously far away. Now, back to the Little Mermaid. What could be next for the Little Mermaid? What could she get out of this? Well, the box office was very soft. $569 total. Ooh, $569 total. $298 domestic, $271 overseas. Oh, that's so low. Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and the Lion King, also Renaissance live action adaptations, were all billion-dollar pictures. Aladdin did $355 domestic and $698 overseas. Beauty and the Beast did $504 domestic, $761 overseas. And the Lion King did $543 domestic and then $1 billion itself just overseas. And so the domestic was all gravy. I mean, that's just incredible. So I don't really know if I would make a Little Mermaid 2, even though I can see some of you would like that. I don't know if I'd sink the money into that because it's expensive. So I think maybe I could do an animated series about what happens after at the end of the movie, because it does kind of set up for a new adventure. So maybe an animated series I could see. I certainly think you might see more presence in the parks. You might see that, although it's tricky because you'd have to swap out animated Ariel for Halle Bailey Ariel. What they're doing now is they have both of them, and you can just decide, who you're interested in seeing. They could make a change like in the parade, but I think they want to make sure that everything goes very smoothly. But if the character continues to be that popular on Disney Plus, you think maybe it could go very smoothly. So that's great. Now, to me, just like Lin-Manuel Miranda is a huge part of Disney these days, I personally feel that what I would take away from this if I were Disney leadership is that they need to give Halle Bailey another movie. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I don't know if you're going to continue as Ariel, but we want you to be a part of the Disney family. So there's always Marvel and Star Wars, to be honest with you, although those are kind of like, I don't know if that would work or not. And I don't know if Halle Bailey is really a good fit with either of those, to be honest with you. But I kind of like the idea of putting her in a theme park movie. Even though Haunted Mansion did not connect. Like, what about Scarlett Johansson's Tower of Terror, which will be an ensemble? I'd be like, hey, ScarJo, you see these Little Mermaid numbers? You want to put Halle Bailey in your movie as one of the people at the hotel? That's what I would consider. I think that would be great, actually, and that would be a good project for her. And I think she'd actually, like in a 1930s, 40s Hollywood kind of situation, I think Halle Bailey would be not only really good, but absolutely adorable. She could even sing, because there could be like a nightclub act or a musical number at the hotel, right? And she could be she could be a singer at the hotel. I like that a lot. I think that's a great idea. Scarlett Johansson should definitely do that. Brian Brown says, Grace, the overseas market is not supporting films with black leads. How can Disney prime these audiences prior to the films? Well, Brian, that's an unfortunate fair point, because Miles Morales also, one second. Miles Morales' movies have also had a problem overseas, which is unfortunate. Oh, the Pirates movies! Oh, I think she would be great in Pirates. I would prefer her in Pirates over Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie is Barbie now. Sorry, that's just the way it is. But I think that she would be wonderful in Pirates of the Caribbean. She would be a great choice. That too. Oh, I love it. Pirates and Tower of Terror. Either one. I'd ask her what she was interested in. But those are both great choices for her. So anyway, I'm not quite sure how they're going to fix this problem overseas. You know, it was interesting. Recently, Instagram released the the 20 or 25 most followed accounts on the service. And I thought it was interesting that the vast majority, like 90 or 95%, were celebrities of color. So clearly there is global interest in talent of color. I think it might be the race bending situation, even though Miles Morales is not race bending, which really frustrates me when people put it in that category. But I think that might be potentially the issue, because I think, were some of you saying this? Black Panther did very well overseas, and also Lion King did. We just talked about the Lion King. And so I think that it's the project that matters, that I think is very important. Stephen says, Cruella is getting a sequel and it made less than The Little Mermaid. Well, Stephen, that's an I think you're fair to bring that up, but here's the problem. Cruella is far more inexpensive to make than The Little Mermaid, because The Little Mermaid takes place underwater. Now, she's a person of both worlds now, land and sea, but she's still going to have to go back underwater for a sequel, and that's just really, really expensive. And also, I don't see the Cruella sequel moving forward, do you? I mean, they said they were making a Cruella sequel, but where is it? So, I mean, I guess obviously there's no movement right now, but still, I think it's a little suspicious because it's been so long. What did Jerome say? Classic case of loving black culture and not black people. Oh, that's sad, Jerome. Oh, but I think that is a good comment. Don't worry, things will change. And I again, look at who the biggest music stars are in the world. I think you just have to get it right. I mean, Beyonce is a global star. Nicki Minaj is a global star. And beyond that, those are just people I thought off the top of my head. So I feel like it can be done. It can be done. You just have to be really careful about it. As does everybody these days. The word of today is careful. All right, so let me end the poll, and then you can ask me any questions you would like about this, and then we'll move on to the next story. Where did you watch The Little Mermaid? 39% have still to see it, but that means 60% of you have seen it. That's pretty good. 30% of you saw it in theaters. Only 16% watched it on Disney+, although 13% did both. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's right, Jay Got Milk. Will Smith was beloved the world over. Oh, he really was. Talk about throwing everything away. I don't know if he's going to recover from that, to be honest with you. Let's do a poll. Do you think Will Smith can recover? Yes? No? Not sure. Still not sure. Okay. I'm still not sure. I'll just tell you my category. I do feel that if he divorced Jada Pinkett Smith, it would help him a lot. But, that's his business. And again, anyone can vote in a poll. You don't have to be a member. Dr. J, so the generosity continues. I'm always talking about movies with my family and friends, and they all keep asking me how I know so much. And then I bring you up. Thank you. I enjoy your movie reviews and perspective. I appreciate the hard work that you put into this. Thanks, Dr. J. I'm glad I'm making you look good in front of your friends. And thank you for giving me credit. You could have just said it was all you. So I'm glad that, I love that you remembered it and, you brought it up in, yourself, and you're sharing the movie love with other people. So it's a team effort, Dr. J. I love it. We're working together. Let's see here. Zay says, I love this movie so much, and I appreciate you answering my recurring questions about The Little Mermaid. My pleasure, Zay. Hallie deserved better in the marketing and promotion. This lacked the wedding cake musical quality we love. Couldn't agree more, Zay, and I think that's all Rob Marshall's fault. I think that a different director, because that's what Beauty and the Beast got right. That was also wedding cake. And good to use the wedding cake term. I love it. I myself had learned that from someone else, when I was looking at some coverage before I then passed it on to all of you. I think wedding cake is a great term, and I think that they didn't want to spend the money, and I think that they should have. I think they should have spent the money to have the wedding cake situation. Derek, I do not think Kevin Spacey can recover, and that's because he just went full weirdo. Never go full weirdo. Whelm says, I think Disney has a serious problem with Disney Plus. These numbers might scream that a lot of people decided to wait to see it on Disney Plus instead of seeing it in theaters. I think that's for sure the case for a lot of people. I have to tell you, when Elemental came out, I loved it. I gave it a great review. I told my parents how good it was, and they were like, we're excited to watch it on Disney Plus. I got them to get it on digital. They didn't love it, actually, which I felt bad about, but because I was like, I made them pay for it, and they could have just waited for Disney Plus. But they didn't love it as much as I did. But yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, great. We just talked about this in Movie Math on Sunday. People are like, oh, you love The Equalizer? I'm excited to watch it on digital down the line or when it hits Netflix. Classic bunny librarian. And you have a photo to match. Oh, look at that bunny reading a book. Side note, I don't think I've ever mentioned it before, but I love bunnies. I'm a big bunny rabbit fan. I think they're so adorable, and in particular, when I was little, my class had little baby bunnies as a pet, class pet, and I'll never forget, one licked my hand, and he had like a sandpaper-like tongue, and it was just so adorable. I pretend not to pay attention to the fact they're the rodent family, whatever, but I'm a big bunny fan. So classic, I almost forgot your question. I was just talking about your name. All right, do you see any live action ever being a major Oscar contender? Well, definitely for production design and stuff like that. I don't think Disney puts the effort into them to make them. I mean, you know what Disney should do? Disney should put their money where their mouth is and their rep, and they should do an original live action fairy tale that starts out as a live action fairy tale. That's not an adaptation of an animated classic. That, I think, would get, I love that idea. I'm just giving away great ideas for free today to the movie studios. Disney in particular. But I think that people would get really excited about that. They would be like, continue the story. Just something that's totally new, I think would be a great idea. Let's see here. Oh, Enchanted. Ha, ha, ha. No, I don't like Enchanted. I'm sorry. Actually, I do not like that movie. I know some people like it, but I think Enchanted is more of a comedy. Enchanted is a romantic comedy. It's like Elf. I'm talking a legit fairy tale, like the other ones. That's what I think. All right, let me close the poll. Oh yeah, Mufasa is a new Rippy, and I think that could do big bucks. Will Smith, can he recover? 40% of you think he can. Brings a tear to Will Smith's eye. I love it. 32% are still not sure, but only 26% say no way. That is very encouraging. You just moved me a little bit into the yes category, seeing those numbers. That's very, very encouraging. Dre Film says, I also think her not being an established actress hurt. Race bending may have worked with someone audiences were more familiar with. Oh, you mean in terms of Halle Bailey? I don't know. Maybe she was just so good in the role and so personable and just so likable. Such a great person. I don't know. I don't think it would have worked, to be honest with you, with any way. I was talking to somebody in the business, and they pointed out that the whole play with these live action adaptations is a nostalgia play. So it needs to look and seem very much like the movie that people remember. And I think that this was just not the case. So I think that's one of the biggest problems. It just wasn't the Little Mermaid that people were hoping for. And they changed a lot of aspects of the story. And I think that that's really was a problem for it. All right, so let's see here. Next, Tony says, given what happened with Halle, do you still support race-bending Professor X? That's a great question, Tony. But I got to tell you, I do. I really do, because we've just had so many Professor X's at this point. We got to do something different. I don't need another Professor X that looks exactly the same as all the other ones. And I think if you get the right actor, like Giancarlo Esposito, I think it would work really well. It has to be the right actor. Like Giancarlo Esposito, people were saying it should be Giancarlo Esposito versus Denzel Washington as Magneto. And I was like, I love it. Where can I sign up for that? I mean, I think it has to be the right actors. I mean, Denzel would never do that. I mean, I don't know. Back up the money truck, Marvel. But I don't know. I'm so nervous about the casting of Fantastic Four, and they're so scraping the bottom of the barrel for that. With like thinking of Jake Gyllenhaal, who's already Mysterio, and Matt Smith, who's not only done so many franchises at this point, but many of them have bombed. I'm just like, who's going to be left for the X-Men? What are we going to be getting? Writer Boy says, I just wanted to say that it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Writer Boy. And I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate than with the BTT community. Are you going to join the live streams tonight, Writer Boy? If so, I'm so glad you're spending so much of your birthday with us. We're having a party, that's for sure. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're pretty good here. That's right, Glenn Howerton somewhere, Ben 10. Oh, everybody's wishing Writer Boy a happy birthday. I love it. I love it so much. All right, let's move on to the third story of the day, and then you can ask me anything that you would like. Third story of the day. Boom, baby. This one is short, but it's a little bit of it's a nasty one. I love it. It's so mean. Okay. So, the other day we talked about how Warner Brothers Discovery had suspended some of its contracts, some of its production deals because of the strike. And so they'd done all the smaller ones, but then they had finally moved on to the big ones, which got a headline. They were like, and what they did is they didn't cancel the deals yet, but they just suspended them. And they said, whatever time is missed now will be added on to the end of the deals when the strike is over, when the strikes are over. So so that was Warner Brothers Discovery. But then NBC Universal decided to do one better, okay? They went up to these companies and they said, we're going to suspend you, but the only way that you cannot get suspended, I got distracted by the HBD abbreviation for happy birthday. I was like, what's that? All right, so anyway, so NBC Universal said the only way that you cannot get suspended is if you start bringing in unscripted programs. If you switch to unscripted, which means you don't need actors or writers from the unions. And then you can keep your deal and keep going. And some people did that. Dick Wolf, who does the Law & Order shows, he's doing unscripted content right now. That's amazing to me. Seth MacFarlane somehow is able to still be working on the Ted reboot for Peacock. I mean, I would think that he would be working on that in a writer capacity to some degree, and that to me seems like he's crossing the picket line. But I don't know. No one's called him out on it, and so I don't want to be the one to do it. But I'm giving him the side eye. But good for Lorne Michaels and Dwayne Johnson, who refused to switch over to unscripted and just decided to take the suspended deal. So good for them. Really, really good for them. Dwayne Johnson, for instance, gave like $1 million to SAG to help cover people's expenses. You can apply to SAG if you need some money. And SAG will give you I think they'll give you like $1,500 a month to either pay your rent or help cover your bills and stuff like that. But they're probably running low because it's been going on for so long and they have so many members who, of course, could hardly make ends meet when they weren't on strike. So yeah, so that was the third story of the day. Does anyone have any questions about that before we move on to Ask Me Anything? I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Lloyd Lester, rent in LA is not $1,500. It probably would not cover your rent, but it's just the best they can offer because they have to cover for so many people. I think LA has become as expensive as New York. LA used to be a little bit less expensive, but I think these days they are the same. That's right, Nameless Desires. Dwayne Johnson's coming back. You know, that Black Adam stuff was embarrassing, but I advised him to get out of there. He did. He tweeted me back. I loved it. It was so nice. I hope that I did help him. But either way, I think he's moving beyond that, and I'm happy for him. Michael, thank you. Michael, always so generous, Michael. Always so generous, Michael in Chicago. Thank you so much. Oh, Aneka rents a room in a house for $900 a month. That's great. That's very nice of you to share your experience with us. And then Deborah says, one bedroom in the suburbs is $2,000. An apartment or like a house? Thanks for gifting a membership, Cat Shack. That's right, Jose. Dwayne and Oprah teamed up to help Hawaii. That Dwayne Johnson, he's just full of the giving. I love Dwayne Johnson. He's Dwanta, you know, his Santa. He's a great guy. Who could be upset with Dwayne Johnson? When he smiles? Oh, did you see him the other day on his Instagram account when like a tour bus of like tourists came up next to his car and he said hi to all of them and he waved, and I was like, look at Dwayne Johnson driving around LA influencing. He's got a camera set up in his car. I mean, that's commitment. Dwayne Johnson doesn't have to do that. You'd think Dwayne Johnson would just want to drive and unwind in the car, and he's like, no, I could be working right now. And so he's filming himself in the car. I mean, I love it. I do sometimes think Dwayne Johnson's a little overexposed, but it's working for him. I'm always a little bit like, there's a lot of Dwayne Johnson. And that's why sometimes I think his movies aren't doing as well, but he's making so much money in other areas, it's fine. And I'm going to watch Red One. Who's not going to watch Red One with Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans is a Christmas movie with J.K. Simmons as a Santa who lifts weights? I mean, everyone's going to tune into that. All right. Well, that's nice you guys are sharing your rent situation. You don't have to. That's always usually a private thing, but that's very nice of you guys to share it. All right, so let's move on to the Q&A. All righty, hold on. All right, 10 minutes. It's 4:57. You can ask me anything you want until 5:07, and then I am taking a dinner break. You know what I'm going to do during my dinner break? I got a screener for the final episode of Harley Quinn that drops on Thursday for the season finale. I'm hoping it's a little longer than 22 minutes. I'm excited. Babette says, Grace, do you think that after A Haunting in Venice, there will be more Poirot sequels? How long can the franchise continue? It can definitely continue, Babette, but I think that it totally depends on the box office for this one, and also how it does on streaming and digital down the line. But I think this is, they have a trilogy, and also it's just Kenneth Branagh want to keep doing this. Although some of the other stuff, like he made like Artemis Fowl, which is like the worst movie of all time, or one of them. So, I think, it depends on the box office and the performance, and also what Kenneth Branagh wants to do. Cosmic says, what did you think of the new iPhone? I don't get the people. I mean, I put a poll out, and very few of you are updating with every model. I thought that was interesting. But I just forked down quite a bit of money for an iPhone 14, and that's because my very old iPhone, which was like an iPhone, I don't know, it was like an iPhone X, which is like the 10, right? That was the last time I got an iPhone. It broke, the screen broke, and they said, you can't get the warranty's gone. We don't even replace this phone anymore, and we don't make new ones. And so I was like, fine, I'll get you a new iPhone. And, I was like, whew, that's a lot of money to put down on a phone. And so so this one just didn't seem like, and also, I don't know, there's like, and like they talk about the camera, but I was just talking to someone about this yesterday, and we were like, the camera in an iPhone just doesn't take pictures as good as like a classic film camera. Like the old 35mm or whatever, like Kodak film that you would have a camera with film in it. Those pictures look better. Sure, you had to wait for them to be developed and they took a long time, but they look better. And so I wish there was some kind of filter to do that on the iPhone. I don't want all my photos in 4K, quite frankly. And so there are other, I don't know. I just wasn't really into it. And also titanium, I don't know. That was kind of cool. But, I just forked out. I think it was like $1,400 or $1,500. I don't even know if that included the Apple secure, the warranty. So that's kind of I was really hoping they would announce a new iMac, because I really would like a new iMac, but they only have a tiny one. I want the big screen, and they still haven't freaking announced it, and I'm annoyed. Jico says, Grace, how about an Ariel Sisters spinoff? No, I don't think that would do well, Jico, I'm afraid. You can literally see my hair curling in the heat while we watch the stream. It was pretty straight when we started. Dr. Long Monkey lives in the woods and doesn't pay rent. That's interesting. I'd be terrified out there, but I'm not a woods person. Mandy says, hi, Grace. Hi, Mandy. Who is your favorite casting from the gods and Percy Jackson? Mine personally is Poseidon, Zeus, and the Dionysus. I love Toby Stevens, Lance Reddick, and Jason Mantzoukas. Well, R.I.P. Lance Reddick. I feel very bad he passed away. I like Toby Stevens, too. I think he's great. I don't know. I think that this casting, I'm sorry, Mandy, I'm just not excited about it. I don't think it's like top tier. And I just think it brings down the image of the show, I'm afraid. But I'm glad you're excited. I'm very curious to see how it performs. I Just Woke Up says, is Taylor Swift scabbing by promoting her new movie? She's definitely in SAG, right? No hate, just curious. Good question. She is not scabbing because she got an interim agreement from SAG because she's distributing the movie on her own and she's following the new SAG requirements. But again, it's confusing and ridiculous. Ohad says, hi Grace, are you planning to watch the horror movie It Lives Inside? Probably not. I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit horror movied out after The Nun. I don't even think I'm gonna review The Exorcist. I mean, I have a couple of weeks, but I mean, it was a tough experience for me. And The Exorcist is gonna be gross. And I don't like that stuff. Ugh, no thank you. The Chris Channel says chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. My God, Chris Channel. I don't even know what the context is of that comment, but you're making me hungry. Let's see here. Ben 10, I have heard nothing about Glenn Howerton as Reed Richards. He is not even on Marvel's radar, apparently, which is so sad. I keep tweeting about it. We should all just @ Kevin Feige, although I don't even know if he pays attention to his own account. This hair right here is curling. It's driving me crazy. Dark Savior, I did hear that Chris Evans got married. You know, the internet took it surprisingly well. I thought the internet would get real angry. But they didn't. They were very happy for him, and I'm very happy for him, and I think that's great. Dimitri says, will you be covering the That 70s Show drama? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I forgot to turn on some lights today. No wonder the lighting looks off. There we go. That's a little better. All right. I think it pretty much covers itself, That 70s Show drama. I think that, you know, they're probably all part of the same cult, to be honest with you, which I don't think we weren't aware of. But that's the situation, that seems. Arun says, hey, Grace. One second. Where'd that go? Who just gifted all those memberships? Boab, 20 memberships. My God, the generosity moves me. Let's see here. Where the heck are we? Arun. Hey, Grace, wondering what you think about Aquaman 2. That teaser looked a lot better than I thought it would. If it is a moderate success, what do you think will happen? I think he'll go and be a Lobo. I gotta tell you, I thought the teaser looked surprisingly good as well. So I'm excited for the trailer on Thursday. World of Devon says, Grace, Family Guy returns October 1st. Are you watching? But, I mean, I do like Family Guy, so I probably will watch. Yep, Dem says, is Winning Time going too fast? It's only season 2. Well, I hope they get a season 3, but I would agree with you. I think season 2 has been moving at such a fast clip, it's a little confusing. Danny, I'm glad you like my shirt for Barbie, and I'm very excited for Ahsoka. We're going to have a great time with both things. Oh, Alex is getting the 15 Pro. More power to you. You know, if you haven't updated your phone in a while, you should get it. But I just updated it. Cat Shack, have a great shift. Thanks for stopping by and for your generosity. Andrew says, random, but would you ever go to Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle? You know, I don't go to a lot of conventions. You know, I would have to pay for my own travel, which is very expensive. And then also, to be honest with you, I get a little nervous about security. So, I don't know. But, you know, never say never. Let's see here. Kev also just got the iPhone 14. Feels my pain. Celestine, it's always so nice to see you. Any tea on the World War Z sequel? I haven't heard anything. It's been so long. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know why they would even make it. It was a great movie though. Gigi, if things continue this slow, will you cover Percy Jackson? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really know if that show is for me. Ivan, I don't have any Batman 2 tea. How do you get around the anti-spamming thing here? Let's see here. That's right, Dr. Long Monkey. 4K selfies are tough. Not Modern Painter says, Grace, I love how get off my digital Lana you have become. Like my husband. That's funny. I like that. Well, kudos to you and your husband. Your husband and I seem like we'd really get along. Thank you, Joey Diabolic. That's very generous of you. Jay King says, hey, just popping in to say hi and thank you for working so hard. 3 streams in one day. I feel like I'm dreaming. Thank you for tuning in for all of them. I can't wait for Barbie and Ahsoka. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be great. Mandy says, Grace, what do you think about Lin-Manuel Miranda appearing in the Percy Jackson show as a god? All the fandom went a little crazy, not necessarily positively. Well, I think that's because he's a bit of a curse, I'm afraid. I think that's a little bit of the reason. I think they're all worried that he's going to curse the show. Deb says, Grace, will you ever watch Bottoms? I've seen it in theaters 3 times and counting. It's my favorite comedy in years. I might watch it when it comes on digital, but I told you that the trailers look very funny. And I think it's really going to hurt, particularly help Ayoade Berry's career. Joey says, do you think the strikes will end by Halloween or Christmas? I got to tell you, the way that it's going, I think they're going to need outside intervention, which will probably happen, in maybe like early October. Someone's going to have to start coming in. Kev, you think they'll have new Macs next year? I sure hope so, but I can't wait that long. My computer needs to be replaced. I think I'm going to have to maybe get something in October or November. I need a new computer. So I'm going to have to do some ridiculous monitor and separate computer setup, and I'm very upset about it. I am a Luddite, even though I, of course, have a YouTube channel, but I don't like I like everything very compact and neat. I don't like hooking a bunch of stuff up together. I'm not a fan of this at all. For instance, at the Apple store, they were like, why don't you just buy a monitor and put your laptop and connect the laptop to it, and then you don't have to buy another computer. But I don't like the idea of my laptop being in my desk, and then when I want to travel, I have to unconnect it. It just bothers me. Adrianic, I think a lot of the stuff about Snow White is not true. Disney's live action Snow White. I feel there are a lot of people who've discovered they can make a lot of money hating off of that movie, and they are just telling people what they think they want to hear, and that some people unfortunately do want to hear. But I wouldn't believe anything about Snow White at the moment. Jason says, I check out the Mac Studio, almost the performance of a Mac Pro, but small and you can pick your screen. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, Jason. That's what I'm going to do. But it's still a pretty penny. Good thing it's a tax write-off. Devin had chicken nuggets and mac and cheese for lunch. You're living a great life, Devin. What kind of mac and cheese? Kraft? Made with chemicals, but so tasty. Thanks, Jay Got Milk. The Chris channel says, I thought you were going to say you were having that for dinner. No, you know what I'm having for dinner? Salmon and salad. That's what I'm having for dinner. Got to stay strong. I'm not watching Saw X Martin Radio. I've never seen a Saw movie, and they're just not for me, I'm afraid. Al Watch says, I watched an old stream where you talk about being an interest in learning in advanced math, but gave it up. Did you ever pick it up again? Well, I told you I was burned real hard by math. I had quite a journey with math. I started out in math, and then I didn't quite understand some of the things we were going through, so I ended up being in, let's say, math where you need a lot of help. But then I ended up teaching all the other kids, and so I felt really good about it. And I worked my way up, and I was getting A's. I was doing really well in algebra and all that stuff. And then senior year for calculus, I really wanted to take the most advanced calculus class that they had. And so I went to my algebra teacher, I still remember, and I was like, he said, I don't think you're going to do well in calculus. And I should have listened. But instead I was like, you don't understand. Wouldn't it be so wonderful for me to have this journey from going to be in a struggling math class to being in the most advanced math class in the school? That would be so great for me. And he said, okay. And it was horrible. It just really hurt my average. It was a disaster. I'm not even going to tell you what the true repercussions of it because it's so bad. But just be careful about the classes you sign up for in life. Let me just remember my story. Remember my story. Maybe it can help some of you. Thanks for all the hair compliments, you guys. I was feeling a little bad about it. I thought it was curling. I was like, oh man. Do. Hey, Noah. Writer boy, you gave somebody else a gift on your birthday. So generous. Hold on. Oh my goodness, I'm behind on these questions. Oh. Jose, that's such a nice thing for you to say. My pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. Lon says, hey Grace, what's your favorite song from the Barbie movie? I'm Just Ken! Although I haven't listened to the Barbie soundtrack in days so that it would be fresh for the watch along tonight. Ivan says, I just wanted to say I checked out The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because of you, and I'm halfway through the finale, and I'm on edge. I'm so glad you like the show. You know, after you finish that, Ivan, check out Julia on Max about Julia Child. It has the same great vibe. Marjorie, I'm so happy you're excited for the Barbie stream. You're going to have some stuffed ravioli? Oh, that's going to be great. Oh, you're having that before the stream. That sounds like a great dinner. We're going to have a real fun time, Marjorie. I love your picture, by the way. All right. I'm catching up. Let's see here. Raphael says, I really don't like horror movies, but I really love Poirot. Can I watch A Haunting in Venice, or is it too different from the other ones? It's very different, but I wouldn't classify it as a horror film. It's more of a spooky movie, so you can watch it. Mandy says, Grace, it's okay you don't feel excited about Percy Jackson. I'll be excited for both of us. Mandy, your love for the show is just contagious. I love it. Sammy Quinn says, heard a rumor they plan to rewrite Snow White once the strike is over. I don't think that's true at all. I give that a 0 truth. Boab says, hi Grace, do you think Apple buying Disney is the best option? No, actually, Boab. And once again, Boab, thank you for your generosity as always. But I think I don't want anyone to own Disney. Once Disney just becomes a category in someone else's portfolio, I mean, it's having a hard time with maintaining quality as is. I think that'll just be the end of it. Oh boy, I'm way over the time. World of Devon says, what are your thoughts on Ahsoka going to theaters? They couldn't sell out the first theater, so I'm a little nervous about it. I just hope tonight's episode delivers. I Just Woke Up says, do you think studios are regretting putting so many eggs in the Rachel Zegler basket? 50 pence is the answer to who is Grace Randolph? What is Grace Randolph? Are you doing a Gomorrah thing? I just woke up. I don't know. I think that Rachel Zegler, when West Side Story did not do well, I think it became clear right there that she wasn't a draw, but she'd managed to sign a lot of big deals. And when someone gets momentum, and especially when Steven Spielberg anoints them to some degree, although Steven Spielberg has a horrible track record of picking people. Do you remember Julia Ormond, who he thought was going to be a big star? Steven Spielberg is not good at picking particularly female talent. But I just don't see it working out with Rachel Zegler, to be honest with you. AJ68 says, hey Grace, I work at Shepard. Nothing against her. You know, it's a certain quality. And I just don't think she's clicking. AG68 says, hey Grace, I work at Shepard Studios in the UK and currently out of work. Oh, is that because of the strike? Your videos always make my day, and also any tea on Robin, Dick Grayson, and Batman 2. Now, I haven't heard anything about doing Batman 2 about Dick Grayson, but I hope that they do. I think that would be although I'm very nervous about them having two different Batmen, Robert Pattinson's and then whatever James Gunn decides to do. I think that's ridiculous. I'm sorry you're out of work. I'm glad I can keep your spirits up, and I hopefully this strike will be over soon. Let's see here. Celestine Ford says, sadly, people are not as infatuated with Hollywood as they used to be. I think that's also, the longer Hollywood stays on strike, the more people will forget about them and get in the habit of other entertainment. So they got to end this thing. Mandy says, Grace, what are your favorite musicals? I'm really curious. Mine is probably Moulin Rouge. Well, Mandy, I really like My Fair Lady. I like Sound of Music. I think those are particularly good ones. I like a lot of musicals. I'm a big musical fan, even though I hate musical theater. Callahan says, Grace, I've loved being a member for the last year and appreciate everything. The first videos of yours I saw was What's Next After Despicable Me 2. I'm so glad. I love when people tell me what video brought them in. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that, Callahan. Thanks for sticking with me. And then, thank you, Poke. Thank you for always saying everyone should like and subscribe. That's very nice of you. Matthew Mahar says, what do you think about that article about Martin Short? I saw that. I thought that was horrible. Martin Short's a comedy gem, a comedy legend. And it really just was showing what clickbait has become, particularly thanks to Twitter, which really rewards negative clicks. Noah Ryan says, which of the Star Wars movies do you see actually moving forward? Filoni! Filoni! Concepcion says, I'm going to try the cottage cheese and mustard diet. What is that? That doesn't sound like that goes together along at all. B-Weeb, I am a little bummed about my dinner, but that's okay. Eddie's also having salmon. We're going to eat salmon together. Oh, let's see here. It's interesting to see some of you having the same math experience that I did. That's interesting. Yeah, we hit a math wall, right? Hold on. Oh, Eric Dion said that. And Wade said that his teacher talked him out of it, and I'm glad you listened. Let's see here. The Jumper says, reports came out that Black Adam had higher viewership than any DC movie that came out this year. Do you mean like on Max? It's still not enough. You guys are very kind. Thank you so much. Oh, the Chris channel. Happy day late on your birthday. I hope you had a great day yesterday. Jas Tannen says, what is your horoscope sign? Oh, I don't believe in horoscopes, but thank you for asking. I don't even follow him, so I don't know off the top of my head. Ivan Sarmiento says, Grace, I just finished today my Adventures of Superman, and it's so good. It's as good as Harley Quinn. What? I watched the first 2 episodes. I don't know if I believe that. Oh, let's see here. Cam Creative says, what's up with the Stranger Things tease? Oh, yeah. Stranger Things had a tease today with Scoops Ahoy saying something sweet was coming. I bet it's another Ben & Jerry's collaboration, which I would not be disappointed about. Elliot Bullock said, I hope Snow White has a wedding cake fairy tale vibe because I heard from people I've seen that it's as magical as the two. Yeah, I got to tell you, Elliot, from the leaked stills, if those are legit, I actually thought it looked pretty good. So I got to see it. Oh, that's right, B-Weeb. I love Little Shop of Horrors. Oh, that's so good. Oh, you're making me want to listen to that soundtrack. Oh, you know what I was listening to the other day? The Greatest Showman. Because I couldn't listen to Barbie, so I was like, what else am I going to listen to? And so I remembered I was going through my library on my Apple Music, and I found The Greatest Showman, and I was like, oh, I haven't listened to that in a while, and I was like, sing it, Hugh Jackman, sing it. I hope they bring it to Broadway. I said when that came out, I was like, it should have been Broadway. They should do a Broadway adaptation. All right, it's way over the time. Let's do shout outs. So no more Q&A. Where are you? What are you doing? Let me say hi to you. Give me a way to interact with you. What's up? That's right, Kev. Barbie Pink. Barbie Pink for tonight's watch along. Keith says, I just started college for interactive media development. Thanks for being part of my inspiration to do so. Oh, that's so awesome. What an interesting career. I'm really excited for you. Martin Radio says, eating fried rice in Seattle. Delicious. Jimmy Fletcher says, Taco Bell for dinner. Everybody eating a better dinner than me. That sounds so good. Bobby Rosas says, watching you at my job until I leave in 10 minutes. Oh, you're almost free, Bobby. Noah Ryan says, hello from overcast Seattle, installing a new shower head in my apartment. Ooh, good luck. Is it a rain shower head? Jason Wood says, cooking curry in Louisiana. Oh, Louisiana has such good food. The first time I went to New Orleans, which was before Hurricane Katrina, I was like, turn the plane around, because I'd gotten a sandwich with like gravy. I'd never had gravy on a sandwich and fries before. So my family had gotten some takeout, and we were eating it on the plane, and I was like, this is the best sandwich I ever ate. I can't believe that I've left. Also, gumbo. I discovered gumbo. That was so good. I'm such a gumbo fan. Good Day says, quit my job, and I'm currently unemployed. You're keeping me busy. My pleasure. And, Good Days, I'm glad. Sometimes you just got to change things up. So good for you for realizing that. Michael said, made my 100th Etsy mug sale during the stream. Oh, that's exciting. 100 mugs. That's impressive, Michael. Fran likes Pepsi, says, eating some snacks with Pepsi in Argentina. Sorry for the sugar mentioning. That's okay. We don't have to all drop sugar, and about to continue studying civil law. Yes, I'm a law student. Oh, I love it. You paint a nice picture, Fran loves Pepsi. I can see you in Argentina with your Pepsi and your snack over your law book. I love it. Let's see here. Hi, T. Thank you. I'm glad you're, thanks for telling us to enjoy the Barbie Ahsoka watch along. It's going to be great. George Snelling is also eating tacos. Ooh, and Jico says this Barbie is about to eat dinner. Early chicken cordon bleu so I can make it to our Barbie watch along. Oh, that makes me so happy. 50 Pence said, oh, where'd that go? 50 Pence said, World of Devon says Luc Besson wants another Valerian. Well, we all want a lot of things, World of Devon, but we don't always get them. Chris had salmon today. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. 50 Pence says Gold Coast, Australia. Waiting for the end of your show, and then I'll get up. Slept on the sofa. Oh, hey, sometimes you got to fall asleep wherever you can, 50 Pence, you know. But I'm so glad. I'm glad to be your morning show. Good morning. Good day. Good day, mate. Let's see here. Ivan Sarmiento says here in Mexico, preparing to watch the VMAs. The lineup is very promising. That's awesome. RJ14 says, hey, Grace, just about to get off work and go to the gym in Alabama. Good for you. Andrew is excited to watch Ahsoka with me tonight. We're going to have a great time, Andrew. Haunted Autumn says, in Minnesota, wishing I was in New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans is great. Still hasn't fully recovered, though, which is sad. Ragu said, trying not to eat past 9 p.m. in Ireland. I'm hungry, but I late night snack way too much. Good for you. I think that's a good rule. Writer Boy says, how will the watch along work? It's my first one. Well, Writer Boy, for those of you who are curious, and everybody, you need to have your own copy of the movie Barbie ready to go to press play when the watch along starts. So starting at 6:45, so like we're a little bit before then, cue up the movie, get ready to press play, and then on another device, your phone, your iPad, your laptop, put it near your computer, and then you bring up the live stream, and I'll tell you when to press play, and then we'll all watch it together. Rashad says, about to nap before work, new second job at the airport. Ah, so you're at the spa and the airport, Rashad. It's a very jet-set lifestyle. I like it. Oh, let's see here. And then Aided Buffalo says, eating ice cream while watching my diabetes. Well, you know, everything in moderation. And then David Kyle says, my first watch along was Cruella. Can't wait for the double feature later. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be great. And Ricardo says, put on Love and Death for the first time. So far impressed with Elizabeth Olsen's acting. Yeah, isn't it good? Oh, it's Brian and Ricardo. Hi, nice to see you again. And then Lawless Bro says, actually in New Orleans, about to eat gumbo at my mom's house. Oh, you're living the life, Lawless Bro. Say hi to your mom for us. And then Mr. Sweet Tooth says, enjoying the stream from Kenya, Africa. Oh, hi. It's 20 past midnight here. Won't be able to join the watch-alongs because it'll be too late. No problem, Mr. Sweet Tooth. They'll stay up so you can watch them when it's good for you. Sweet dreams. And then Danny says, much love from Guatemala. I hope you enjoy the Harley Quinn finale. Thank you. And Charlie Michael says, just moved into college. The AC in the room next to me leaked all over my floor. The adventure begins. Get your RA. Be like, what the heck, man? What kind of a joint are you running here? And Jose Miranda says, I'm going to put my fall decorations out today. Oh, that's great. I was thinking of doing Halloween in September, my Halloween decorations, but one of my friends was like, it's too early. You got to wait till like the first weekend of October or the last weekend of September. Let me see when that would be. When am I going to do mine? Oh yeah, the weekend of September 30th, October 1st. I'm going to Halloween it up, and I'm excited. All right, everybody. Oh, and Ben 10, good night to you in France. As I said before, bonne nuit. Okay, everybody. And Alois Martinez says, I just got here for my art teaching job. Hi, that's great. What a cool job. All right, everybody. I love seeing you as always, and I will see you again in just about an hour or so, an hour and 20 minutes. At 6:45 for our Barbie watch-along. It's going to be fun, and then right after, we're going to go into Ahsoka. It's going to be quite the time. All right, and thank you for joining me today, here, too. I really appreciate it, and I had a great time. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye-bye.